What's going on, everyone? This is Jags Central, and I hope you're all doing well. And I know as Jags fans, we are not doing well because that was a humiliating loss to the Detroit Lions. At the beginning of the season, when we lost to the Buffalo Bills in week 3, one question I had asked was, can it get any worse? And at that point, you wouldn't think it could get any worse because we were 0-3. We lost to the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football in humiliating fashion, 47-10. And I didn't think it could get any worse than that. And one thing that I did also mention around that time was that the Jacksonville Jaguars were essentially the worst team in the NFL. At the time, I didn't believe it because I thought to myself, all right, cool. The record says we are the worst team in the NFL. We're 0-3. The way we've been playing, it's been awful. But I thought that they could potentially turn it around. Not maybe turn it around and win the AFC South, but maybe just turn around the season and maybe not be 2-8 or 2-9 as we are right now. But we found a way to make it even worse because now we're en route to getting the number 1 pick for the third time in 5 years. We've lost 52-26 against the Detroit Lions, and that's our worst loss in franchise history. And if this game hadn't already exposed the team's numerous shortcomings on both sides of the ball, this game definitely did. Like, offensively, it was a struggle. I know we have Trevor Lawrence out with an injury, and Mac Jones was in the game. He completed 17 for 29 passes and only threw for 138 passing yards. The running game, ineffective. We only had 41 rush yards on the ground, which it was essentially virtually non-existent. And I think there's probably a few running backs or quarterbacks who ran for more than 41 yards on one play alone. Offensive line, I've had some positive things to say about the offensive line this year, but that performance against the Lions was just bad. Like, they just struggled to create any running lanes for the running backs. The defensive collapse, I just can't believe it. Like, just last week when I was making the video on our review against our Week 10 opponent, against the Minnesota Vikings, I was talking about, is the Jaguars defense turning a corner? Because I thought to myself, we are the worst defensive team in the NFL according to all the metrics and stuff, but it wasn't like a team that, watching the team, it didn't seem like that, even though we do give up a lot of points. But I felt like the effort of the team, of the defense, is there sometimes or most times, but I didn't feel like we were the worst team in the NFL defensively. And I thought we were turning a corner, especially the way we performed against the Minnesota Vikings. But what we did was we took one step forward and we've taken 2 steps back, and the Lions were dominant. Like, they scored a touchdown on their first 7 drives. Like, that is unbelievable. The tackling was weak. Like, Jaguars defense missed numerous tackles, and the Lions just gained extra yards after contact. Pass coverage was awful. Like, everything was awful. Like, there was nothing in this game that we could find any positives out of. And I don't think there's any point for me going through the game, like through what happened in the first, second, third and fourth quarter, because there's literally no point. And just looking ahead, like, now, even though there were already these questions that were being raised before this game about the Jaguars' future, this was being raised in the off-season, this was being raised after our 0-3 start. But the team need to address, like, everything, like the coach, the play callers, the coordinators, the GM, who I feel like has been getting away with murder, because I know Doug Pederson gets all the blame, Press Taylor and whatnot, but I feel like Trent Baalke gets away with a lot. And I think with the Jags right now, a team that's essentially about to get their third number 1 pick in 5 years, which has never ever happened before, like, has to be down to the GM. Number 1, and the owner, you can't get rid of the owner, and the owner has to make these tough decisions. I'm going to be making a video about the Jags number 1 pick situation and what they should do with it if they get that number 1 pick for the 2025 NFL draft. And I'm going to do that during the bye week because it's going to be a quiet week for the next 2 weeks, given there's no other changes that happen during the bye week. But the coaching staff, Doug Pederson, his staff, like, everything has to be evaluated, especially with Ryan Nielsen as well. Like, I know he's just come in, but the defense has just looked even worse. Like, I thought to myself last week after the game, because the Vikings, there was going to be some growing pains. There's going to be some changes that's going to happen. Like, they're not going to be amazing straight away. Like, you understand that, but you'd assume that by now that the team or the defense would have got better and better and better, but they just seem like they're not getting any better, and now essentially they're getting worse. As of recording, this is Tuesday, there have been no changes made to any coaching staff or up in the front office. Doug Pederson has said he's spoken to Shad Khan, but nothing has basically come out of that. And he was also asked about Press Taylor in one of his press conferences, and he also said that everything's on the table and whatnot. But the past 2 seasons, we've also been making like a lot of we've put Press Taylor under a lot of scrutiny, and he's been basically a topic of conversation for the offensive struggles. But the way the Jags are right now, it's evident that it's not just one man that can be responsible for this. This is just like all the way from the top, all the way to the bottom. Like, everything needs to be changed. And yeah, it's just, I literally don't know where else to go. Like, the season is seeming like a long season being a Jags fan, and we've got how many more games? We've got a bye week, so we don't have to suffer through another loss or another I literally don't even know what to say, to be honest, because that was yeah, I even though I kind of expected the loss, I'm still lost for words at the way we lost, especially. Like, I think I said maybe in one of the videos, maybe the last video, the 2 videos ago, that it would be probably one of our biggest losses of the season, and I didn't really think it would happen, but it happened. But I don't really know what else to say. I think I'll just have to leave it at that, and I'll just catch you guys in the next video. But go Jags.